Everybody, Chris here at Bluerhino Safaris. I trust you are well. My year is underway. I just finished the Orange River tour. Very nice tour. We were a little bit unlucky with the water levels. We didn't quite catch the floods. I think the floods are still on the way. But that's the way it goes. But nonetheless, a really nice tour. Nice and relaxing. It's always a lovely tour to do locally and just get the year going. But the reason for this video is 2026 calendar is being filled up. So if you are interested in any of my tours, 2026 is on the website. I'm doing it as I go. But in the next month, most of the trips will be up and I will send out a few videos to do that. Kulan already there and taking bookings. Motorhome Morocco is pretty much fully booked for 2026. If you want to, you can ask and we can see if we can help, but otherwise it's pretty much fully booked. Get your name on for the next one because they book out very quickly. And then the latest one that I have is now Serengeti and Zanzibar. Serengeti and Zanzibar 26, it's my normal route. It's the one that I've done probably about 15 times already. It is a brilliant, brilliant route. I've refined it and adjusted it and moved it. And even last year, I still made another change to make the trip even nicer. So I'll tell you about that when we get there. Departure date is 20 May 2026. The duration, 31 nights. Accommodation is camping. Now that means, and someone asked a very good question, what do you mean by camping? Do you supply tents or not? No, I don't. What it means is you have your own vehicle, you have your camping gear, you're ready to go, you just need someone to go with. And that's what I do. I provide that someone to go with. I do all the bookings, I do the logistics, I do the preparation, I tell you what food to take, what food not to take, I have runners on the borders. I do all of that stuff. So you basically just pay your fees, bring your camping gear, bring your food, and carry on. And if you have an issue with food, I'll tell you what to do. It's much healthier for you to do your own food. There's very nice restaurants on the trip, so a lot of the time you don't actually even need to take a lot of food. You can just eat the local food, which is really, really good. The price, if you go back to previous years' prices, if you've been following my website, you'll notice that 3450 has been the tour price for about 3 years now. It still has not changed from 3450, but it is a dollar-based tour, so just be aware of that. 3,450 Rand per person in US dollars, and that includes 4 nights in the Serengeti. If you want to go and look at the Serengeti website, the official website for Tanapa, Tanzanian National Parks, and you will see what it costs to go into the Serengeti and into the crater. So your crater is included, the vehicle into the crater is included, your camping fees and everything for the whole trip is included, plus your park fees for the Serengeti. So just have a look. That's why it costs a lot of money, because Tanzania is very expensive in the parks. Then the distance, it's about 1,500 kilometers, 10,500 k's, which means it's more or less between 2 services for a diesel vehicle. Children, no. If you have older children, let's say grade 7 and up, no problem. But otherwise, no. It gets a little bit remote and gets a little bit dangerous for small children. So no children. Group size, 6 vehicles, maybe 7 if I have a single person, or if someone asks that their friends want to join or something like that. So it is on the website. Click on read more and you will go over to the page that describes route for you. The overview is there. There's a promotional video that I did in 2020, which it's just an interesting little video to watch. Then the itinerary is there, roughly day 1 to 7, 8 to 10, this, that, and the other. But let me go through the itinerary with you according to the map, and it will give you a good idea of exactly what we are doing. So I start this specific trip, I start in Nata. The reason is the second night we sleep in Livingston, so we can actually start in Nata, which makes it a little bit easier to get from Joburg to the starting point. Kasane is far, I need 2 days to get there. Nata I can just make in a day, which for me, coming back from Morocco, I'm going to run out of time. So I need to have every day available that I have for traveling, because just before this, I'm doing Morocco. So we start in Nata, up to Livingston for the next day, and then we normally arrive in camp in the, say, 2-3 p.m., which will give you another 2-3 hours that you can actually visit the falls, or you can do a restaurant meal, or you can do a boat cruise, or whatever you want to do. But there's a bit of time for Vic Fallsing. If you haven't done Vic Falls, or if you haven't been there for a while, always nice to sit on the deck, have a beer, overlook the sunset. The sunset there is absolutely brilliant. So our second night is at Livingston. Then we're up to Lusaka, and there we stock up. Nice Pick and Pay that we stop at. Good food, good groceries, good meat that you can find there. And the next day we are out of the city. We head up north, sleep on the Tanzam Highway, and then up to the hot springs, Kapisha Hot Springs. You've seen the pictures before. We arrive late-ish, but the next day we only have a half a day travel, so we leave late in the morning. So enough time to sit in the hot spring and just relax a little bit. As I said, a short day to the border, sleep just before the border, and the next day early, first light, we hit the border, get across, and head up to Tanganyika. Tanganyika's 3 nights is heaven. You do cruises, snorkeling in Lake Tanganyika, one of the cleanest lakes with the biggest variety of fish in the world as far as I know. Snorkeling, scuba, whatever you want to do. That is the 3 nights that we have at Lake Tanganyika. Then we head over to Lake Victoria, but to get to Victoria we need to sleep somewhere, so we just have a stop for a sleep, and then 2 nights at Lake Victoria. Those 2 nights are the staging nights to get into Serengeti, so we make sure we have everything with us. If you want to go and buy stuff, if you want to go into town, you can do that. Otherwise, if you have your stuff, lovely, lovely lodge to just chill, have some pizzas, restaurant meals, swimming pool, and it's just really relaxing for the next 5 days, which is going to be quite busy. Next day we travel up to Serengeti, and we are in the Serengeti for 4 nights. So the Serengeti, we come in on the west, and I would then start looking for wildebeest. We camp for the first night. The second night I normally go south. We carry on looking for the wildebeest, and by that time I have figured out more or less where they are. And then we start doing deciding, do we go back for them? Do we go look for leopard? Do we look for more lions? But if we haven't found them, then we go north and we travel. I've done this 15 times. You'll find them. But we have 4 nights, and that is one of the nice things. We have enough time to do it. So much time that the last day is normally a spare day where we can decide what we want to go and do. Back to the wildebeest, or maybe drive it just different part of the park, visit the Maasai paintings, whatever we want to do. Also gives us time to do a balloon ride on day 3. The hot air balloons go up. If you've never done that, it's brilliant. I've done it a few times. It is a bit costly, but there's nothing that will give you the understanding and overview of the vastness of the Serengeti if you don't do the balloon. Even if you don't see the animals or they're not at the balloon site, just to see the vastness of the Serengeti is incredible. It changes who you are. Then we make our way out. Lovely days with shopping. No, sorry. First we go into the crater. So we leave the Serengeti after 4 nights, into the crater. We do the crater for the day. Late afternoon we are out and we sleep on the rim of the crater for that night. Like a cold night, normally a bit wet, but it's one of those lovely experiences just to be there. Often we have herds of buffalo coming in and grazing on the campsite grass. So don't be scared if you see buffalo on the campsite. Then the next day we head out to Arusha. At Arusha, or on the way to Arusha, there's lovely shops for tourists with restaurants and amazing tourist attractions. Things to buy. Gifts and blankets, Maasai blankets and scarves and shoes and t-shirts and all of that stuff, walking sticks. So we have a lot of time. So we spend the morning driving that road, so only 150 kilometers for the morning, and we stop at the shops. Then into Arusha on the same day, and we sleep at the campsite which has a mechanical workshop. So if your roof rack is coming loose or you need to tighten a bolt, then they have a guy there with a spanner who can quickly help you. You can also go do some shopping at the grocery store right next door. So we stock up on a little bit of groceries, and we are then set for the next part of the journey. We make our way past Kilimanjaro and down to a town called Bagamoyo. Bagamoyo, where you lay your heart, where I lay my heart, where the slaves left Africa to go to Zanzibar to be sent off to wherever. So they called it Bagamoyo. This is the last place that I will put my heart down in Africa. Just a little bit of history. But we sleep in Bagamoyo. Great little lodge, nice restaurant, swimming pool, absolutely brilliant. Then from there we head into a very short day, about 100 kilometers to get into Dar es Salaam. In Dar es Salaam we get ourselves sorted out, and the next morning, those who feel like it and want to do Zanzibar, the next morning 5 o'clock the taxi or the bus or whatever we decide to use will pick us up, takes us to the ferry terminal, we catch a ferry and we head across Zanzibar. Arriving in Zanzibar, we do breakfast, and after breakfast you have time to go and shower, get your feathers shaken, and in the afternoon we go out to the spice tour. Spice tour is something that if you haven't done a spice tour in Zanzibar, then you have no idea what you're in for. It is amazing. I always use the same person to do it, Mr. Spice. He's a great guide, he knows his spices, and it's not a bottle or the final spice necessarily that you're going to smell. You're going to see where it comes from, the medicinal uses and all that stuff. It's really brilliant. We'll do the slave market, we'll do Stone Town, we'll do the doors of Zanzibar, all of that stuff. We sleep in Zanzibar, and the next day we do all of these other stuff. And just before we go, we have lunch at the Old English Club. Very nice lunch, some seafood, whatever you feel like, and then we catch the ferry back in Dar es Salaam just after dark, and then we have an off day. And this is the change that I made from previous years. I added a day so that we can just relax a bit, because Zanzibar is quite hectic, and arriving back after dark, you don't want to leave first thing in the morning. So I worked out that we can have an off day in Dar es Salaam coming back from Zanzibar. After the off day, early morning, first light, we try to avoid the traffic, head out of Dar es Salaam, and we go up to Ringa, sleep there, then up to the Malawi border. We sleep inside Tanzania for the last night, and then the next morning we cross into Malawi, easy crossing because we have enough time to do it. This is also a change that I've made, not to arrive late at the border, but to go the next day earlier. Then we have 3 nights on Lake Malawi, 2 nights at the first campsite, 1 night at the second campsite, down and split away from the lake into Zambia, where we sleep on the Zambia border for a night. Some people would split off here because South Luangwa is right there and they can do South Luangwa, because we are basically on our way home, and you can now split off wherever you want to do that. But from there down to Lusaka. And then once you're in Lusaka and we head down to Livingstone, again, some people split off. They go to Chirundu, Monopools, into Zimbabwe if they feel like it. Otherwise, carry on with me. We head down towards Livingstone. The road has been rebuilt and is really good these days. And in the last 2 times that I did this road, I could travel from Lusaka all the way to Nata. So we head back down to Nata. If you want to hang back and do Livingstone a bit more or a few days there, you can do that, no problem. But then it's our last night in Nata, and that is the end of the trip. It's absolutely brilliant. It is, for me, one of the trips that I look forward to the most is this version of it, because this version of it is that extra day in the Serengeti that just sort of don't make it a rush. If you do the Serengeti in 3 days, then you almost feel like, oh, it's a little bit tight. We want just a little bit more time. 4 days is one of those where people on the 4th day often would say, no, we're not even going out, we're sitting in camp, and we'll go out at lunchtime, drive around the Serenera area by the river, see if we can find some lions or leopards or lions in the tree or cheetah. There's a lot of cheetah in the area. So very often the fourth day people just relax because we've done everything, we've seen everything we wanted to see, and we can now carry on with the trip. So that's it. Space is limited. I've already got 3 vehicles booked on this trip, so if you wanted to go, make sure to get your booking in. There is not a lot of space, and I don't want to take big groups. It's a lot of money to pay, and I want to keep it contained to a group where everybody gets their money's worth, and it is not just a commercial money-making system. So I want to keep it smaller so that people get value for their money and enjoy the trip as a smaller group traveling together. Let me know, email, WhatsApp, telephone, but get your booking in for 2026 Serengeti and Zanzibar. And that's it. Drive safe, and I'll see you on the road. Cheers.